I was born into a world where everything sparkled, where money flowed like water, and every dream seemed just a step away. My name is Lila, and from the first day I opened my eyes, I knew luxury was normal for me. Expensive dresses, grand parties, designer bags, trips across the globe, I had it all. Friends admired me, boys wanted me, and the world seemed to bend to my desires. But even in this shining world, I learned one thing early: money is power, love is weakness. I saw how people changed when they thought I had less. I believed wealth could solve everything: loneliness, heartbreak, fear. So I loved money more than anything. It felt safe, solid, and never betrayed me. Yet, something whispered in the back of my mind: happiness isn't about gold, it's about hearts. I ignored it. I didn't care. Life was a glittering stage, and I was its brightest star. But the world has a way of teaching lessons the hard way. Life, as I knew it, began to change the moment my family faced financial difficulties. I still remember the day my father called me into his office, his face tense, his eyes clouded with worry. "Lila, we've lost a lot. Things won't be the same," he said softly. At first, I refused to believe him. Money had always been my shield. How could it disappear? How could our perfect life crumble? But soon, the signs were everywhere. The staff who once catered to every whim left. Friends who laughed with me at parties started avoiding calls. Luxury cars were sold, expensive trips canceled, and our grand mansion felt suddenly empty. For the first time in my life, I felt powerless. I realized that the world I had built around wealth and status was fragile. I began to see people's true colors. Those I thought were my friends vanished. Those who claimed to care only cared when my money was involved. It hurt more than I ever imagined. Loneliness crept in, and heartbreak wasn't about love, it was about betrayal. I had learned to love money, but money had taught me that love, genuine connection, could not be bought. Even as I struggled, I refused to let the world see my weakness. I held my head high, pretending that I was fine. But inside, fear gnawed at me. I was learning the hardest lesson of my life: wealth is temporary, but character and resilience define you. The day the wealth truly vanished, I felt the ground beneath me disappear. I was no longer Lila, the girl everyone admired, the girl who had everything. Suddenly, I was invisible. People who once smiled at me turned away. Opportunities that seemed endless evaporated. I had to face reality. I had to survive without money. Every meal, every bill, every small choice became a struggle. I had never done my own laundry, cooked my own meals, or handled finances. Now I had to learn everything at once. The hardest part was the betrayal I felt from people around me. Those I thought were friends abandoned me. Even distant relatives questioned me, whispering behind my back. It hurt deeply, but it also opened my eyes. I realized that money had shielded me from reality, but now I had no choice but to grow, to learn, and to rely on myself. I took the first step slowly, finding a small job, managing expenses, and learning humility. The world that once seemed glamorous now felt harsh, cold, and unkind. Every glance, every rejection reminded me how fragile life truly is. But amid the struggle, a spark ignited inside me. I realized that resilience comes not from wealth, but from the courage to keep going when everything falls apart. I promised myself that I would survive, that I would grow stronger, and that I would discover the true meaning of love, friendship, and self-worth. Just when I thought life couldn't get harder, betrayal struck like a storm. People I trusted, who smiled with me in wealth and glory, suddenly turned their backs. Even those I considered friends revealed their true colors. They only valued me for what I had, and now that I had nothing, they were gone. I felt abandoned, lonely, and completely exposed. Heartbreak isn't always about love. It's also about realizing that the world you believed in was an illusion. Every whispered word, every avoided glance, pierced me deeper than I imagined. I questioned everything. Was I wrong to trust? Was my love for money a mistake? Could I ever find someone who cared for me truly beyond wealth and status? There were nights I cried alone, hugging myself, wondering if I'd ever feel safe again. I missed the security, the admiration, and the comfort I once took for granted. But in the midst of heartbreak, I discovered a quiet strength inside me, a determination to survive, to rebuild, and to find my own path. I realized that life's harshest lessons often come wrapped in pain. Betrayal hurt, but it also taught me the difference between superficial love and genuine connection. And though I was broken, I refused to let bitterness consume me. I vowed to rise from the ashes, stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. After the heartbreak, after the loneliness, I realized something powerful. I had the strength to rebuild my life without anyone else's approval or support. I started small, learning new skills, taking odd jobs, and slowly understanding the value of independence. Every challenge, every failure, and every rejection became a lesson in resilience. I discovered that my worth was not defined by money, popularity, or the approval of others. It was defined by who I was inside and how I treated myself and others. For the first time, I began to understand true love, not romantic, not transactional, but the love of self, of authenticity, and of the people who genuinely cared. I made peace with the past, forgiving those who betrayed me, not for them, but for my own freedom. As I rose from the ashes, I embraced simplicity, humility, and gratitude. I learned to enjoy the little things, cooking a meal for myself, walking without being noticed, helping someone in need without expecting anything in return. Life had stripped me bare, but it had also given me clarity, a vision of who I wanted to be. I realized that wealth is temporary, but strength, integrity, and genuine connection are eternal. I vowed never to chase money blindly again, but to pursue a life rich in experiences, love, and purpose. And in this journey, I began to rebuild not just my life, but my heart, piece by piece, stronger than before. After years of struggle, heartbreak, and betrayal, I was hesitant to trust again. I am Lila, and I had learned that not everyone who smiles at you truly cares. But life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it. I met someone, not because of money, status, or appearance, but because we connected in a way deeper than superficiality. He saw me, truly saw me, beyond the facade, beyond the past, beyond wealth. It was the kind of love I had never known, a love built on trust, respect, and genuine care. Slowly, I let go of my fears, and I allowed myself to be vulnerable again. Every moment was a lesson in patience, forgiveness, and hope. I realized that life had prepared me for this, not just for love, but for understanding the true value of relationships. This new beginning was not glamorous or effortless. We faced struggles, obstacles, and societal judgments. But together, we built something real, something lasting, something that no money could ever buy. I learned that love without conditions and trust without fear are the greatest treasures in life. And as I walked this new path, I also began to help others. I shared my experiences, guiding those who had lost everything, teaching them to rise, to fight, and to rediscover themselves. My journey had come full circle, once dependent on wealth, now rich in experience, love, and purpose. Through every trial, heartbreak, and struggle, I discovered something extraordinary. My pain could become my power. I am Lila, and my story is not just mine, it is for anyone who has ever felt lost, betrayed, or broken. I began sharing my journey, opening my heart to the world. I spoke about my mistakes, my failures, my struggles with wealth, love, and trust. And people listened. They saw themselves in me. They cried with me, laughed with me, and found hope in my words. I realized that true empowerment is not about being perfect. It's about embracing your flaws, standing tall despite the storms, and lifting others as you rise. I started mentoring, helping those who had lost everything, teaching them to find strength in themselves, to trust again, and to rebuild their lives with dignity. Money may have been my first love, but resilience, courage, and authenticity became my life's true wealth. I learned that no riches could replace the satisfaction of touching someone's heart, of inspiring a life, of showing that survival is possible even after complete loss. Today, I am stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than ever. I embrace every scar, every tear, every lesson. I am Lila, a girl who loved money more than love, who lost it all, and who found herself, her purpose, and true connections in the ashes of her past. And this is only the beginning. Because now I know life is not measured by wealth or status, it is measured by courage, love, and the lives you touch along the way. Years of struggle, heartbreak, and self-discovery transformed me completely. I am Lila, and I no longer define myself by wealth, fame, or what others think of me. My legacy is not in the luxurious clothes I once wore, nor in the parties I once attended. It is in the strength I discovered, the lessons I learned, and the lives I touch. I take pride in knowing that my journey can inspire someone who feels lost, betrayed, or hopeless. I mentor, I guide, and I speak my truth, reminding everyone that even when life strips you bare, your spirit can rise stronger than ever. This transformation wasn't overnight. It came with tears, sleepless nights, and moments of doubt. But every obstacle shaped me into the woman I am today, a woman who embraces life, not with fear, but with courage, empathy, and resilience. I understand now that wealth can vanish, friends can betray, and circumstances can crush you. But your inner strength, your heart, and your values are treasures no one can take away. With every sunrise, I am reminded of the possibilities that await. I am Lila, and my story is a testament to hope, resilience, and transformation. I have learned to trust again, to love genuinely, and to live authentically. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to forgive, and to inspire. I have a heart full of hope, a hope that no matter what life takes away, it also gives the chance to rebuild, to shine, and to connect with people who truly matter. I share my story not for pity, but for empowerment. To anyone listening, you are stronger than your struggles, braver than your fears, and capable of creating your own happiness. Life is unpredictable, but your spirit is unbreakable. I am Lila, a girl who once loved money more than love, who lost everything, who was betrayed, and who rose from the ashes to discover true wealth, a heart full of hope, resilience, and genuine connection. And this is my gift to the world. A reminder that even in darkness, light exists. Even in loss, growth is possible. And even in heartbreak, real love, can be found. Just when I thought I had finally found stability, life threw me another curveball. I am Lila, and the universe reminded me that growth is never easy. Unexpected challenges appeared. My career faced setbacks, opportunities one had worked so hard for fell through, and old insecurities resurfaced. There were moments I doubted myself, moments I feared I couldn't rise again. But this time, I approached the obstacles differently. I remembered all I had endured, the heartbreak, betrayal, and struggles, and realized that nothing could break me if I refused to give up. Every setback became a lesson, every disappointment a stepping stone. I learned to embrace uncertainty, to see challenges as opportunities, and to trust my instincts. This resilience, forged through years of struggle, became my greatest weapon. Amid the chaos, I found something more precious than money or fame: true friendship. These were people who stayed when the world turned its back. People who cared without expectation, who celebrated my victories without envy, and who supported me in silence during my failures. I am Lila, and through these friendships, I realized how much I had misunderstood the meaning of connection. True friends don't judge by wealth, appearance, or status. They value your heart, your honesty, and your soul. Together, we laughed, cried, and grew. These friendships became my anchor, teaching me trust, loyalty, and the joy of giving and receiving unconditional love. With each challenge overcome, I felt a calling to give back, to help those walking paths similar to mine. I began mentoring young girls, sharing my story and guiding them through heartbreak, loss, and self-discovery. I started small initiatives to help people who had nothing, proving that even the smallest acts of kindness can create ripples of change. I am Lila, and I realized that my experiences, my pain, and my triumphs could inspire and empower others. I had learned that true wealth is measured not in currency, but in the positive impact we leave on the lives of others. Finally, after years of trials, I found peace within myself. I am Lila, and I have learned that happiness is not in riches, fame, or external validation. It is in accepting yourself, loving yourself, and embracing every part of your journey. I smile without fear, I live without regret, and I love without conditions. Life is still unpredictable, but I face it with courage, gratitude, and an open heart. I have found my purpose, my inner strength, and my joy. And I know now that no matter what comes, I am whole, I am strong, and I am free. Even after everything I had endured, betrayal, heartbreak, loss, I realized that holding on to anger only weighed me down. I am Lila, and forgiveness became my greatest freedom. I forgave those who hurt me, not because they deserved it, but because I deserved peace. Each act of forgiveness lifted a burden off my heart and opened space for love, growth, and clarity. I understood that forgiving does not mean forgetting. It means reclaiming your power and refusing to let the past control your present. Through forgiveness, I found compassion for others and for myself. It was a turning point, a quiet revolution within me, and the beginning of a deeper, more meaningful chapter in my life. With my heart lighter and spirit stronger, I began to pursue dreams I had once thought impossible. I am Lila, and I no longer let fear or doubt dictate my choices. I explored new passions, started creative projects, and embraced opportunities that challenged me. Every failure became a lesson, every success a celebration of perseverance. I discovered the joy of doing what I loved, not for wealth or recognition, but for fulfillment, growth, and the pure satisfaction of creating something meaningful. I realized that courage is not the absence of fear, it is pursuing your dreams despite it. And with each bold step I took, I felt my confidence, resilience, and purpose deepen. Life had taught me hard lessons about trust, loyalty, and authenticity. I am Lila, and I now understand that true relationships, romantic or platonic, are built on honesty, respect, and shared vulnerability. I met people who valued me for who I truly am, not for what I had. We laughed, cried, and grew together, supporting each other through challenges and celebrating triumphs. Love, I realized, is not glamorous or easy. It is a choice, a daily act of care, patience, and trust. I embraced this love fully, without fear, and it brought me a sense of peace I had never known. It reminded me that genuine connection is the most precious wealth one can ever have. Looking back on my journey, I see a life filled with lessons, resilience, and transformation. I am Lila, and my story is not just mine. It is a beacon for anyone who has faced loss, heartbreak, or betrayal. I have found my purpose: to inspire, empower, and uplift. Through mentorship, guidance, and sharing my experiences, I help others navigate the storms of life. I have discovered that true wealth lies in courage, love, authenticity, and the positive impact we leave on the world. Even now, with challenges still ahead, I walk with hope, gratitude, and a heart full of joy. I know that life is unpredictable, but my spirit is unbreakable. And as I continue this journey, I carry a message for everyone listening. Rise from your struggles, embrace your journey, and treasure the love and connections that truly matter. Your heart, your courage, and your resilience are the greatest treasures of all.